Guys, how's it going? I'm out here today working on my Dodge again. I was getting it ready to get it inspected, and I knew I needed back brakes. I took this one off and I found out that my caliper was seized up, so I had to order a new one I got it from Napa. That was the cheapest place I found. A manufactured one was $31.50 online from them. Sorry about the shaky cam, I got bad nerves. So, it didn't come with these go in here. The new one doesn't have them, so I just pulled them out and cleaned them up on the wire wheel on the grinder in there, and I'll grease them up and put them in the new one. But I'll show you what happened to this one. So here's the piston. As you can see, this boot popped off sometime, and it froze the this piston right in the bore. It won't move at all. These pistons are made out of some like ceramic material or something like that. They're not steel, so you have to be careful when you're changing your brakes. If you push on them, or like when you're prying it off, you can bust off the piece. You can see this one's broke. I had one crack right down, took a big chunk right in the same spot. On the other side, I had to buy a new caliper for it the first time I did the brakes on this thing, because it busted this whole section out right down to the bottom of the piston. So you have to be really careful with these, because they're not very forgiving when you're pushing on them. All you really have to do is just take this nut out right here, pull this off, and then there's two copper washers, one on this side, one on this side. Put them on, put it back, put that bolt back in, and then you bleed your brakes and you'll be good to go. I can't do that now. I don't have anybody here, and I don't have one of them brake. I need to get one of them vacuum pump booster thingies so I can bleed the brakes myself. Got a brake leak in the front passenger side of the van. I ended up having to buy a new rubber hose for it. I had a hell of a time with it. Me and my dad fought with it for about an hour yesterday. It was leaking at the caliper, and just, it took forever. We had to just keep tightening it down. Finally it quit leaking. I'm hoping it don't start leaking again, but the brakes don't feel anywhere like they used to. They were pretty hard before. Now it's really spongy. So I think maybe that hose was bad inside of it or something, but it started leaking right where the metal line goes into the rubber hose. It was leaking in there somewhere, so I replaced it. But we'll see how that works out. So I still got to do the front shocks on that, and I think my front drive shaft, they don't have universal joints in the front of those. Well, where it hooks to the transfer case, it's a CV joint instead of a U joint. So I got on a site called astrosafari.com. It's all about those vans, and a guy pointed me to a place that sells them. It's 85 bucks for the CV joint on it, and that's the first place I've ever found them. Because everywhere else you have to buy a new drive shaft, and they're $300 and some dollars. So I'm gonna try giving that a whirl, because it runs all right till it heats up. You know, like after you drive it for a long time, and then like once I get to where I work, which is probably about half hour, 45 minutes away, once you start slowing down, it gets out of balance, because I think that CV joint's bad, because all it is rubber in the center of this thing. Because I drove it with my transfer case is electric, so if you pull the fuse out, it won't engage it. So I had the fuse in it and drove it to work. And I got down underneath it and I was moving the drive shaft, and it freaking wiggles all over. Sorry about that, my wife called. But anyway, yeah, when I drive the van for an extended length of time, and then I get up underneath it, I can wiggle that end of the drive shaft all over. It wiggles pretty good, so I think that CV joint's bad, so I gotta get one of those. It's like 85 bucks for it, and then it's 10 bucks to ship it to me, so I'll have to save up the money and get one of those. And I need new U-joints and everything else, so that's gonna be $100 and some project there too. So if it ain't one thing, it's another, but I'll get it taken care of and that stuff. But we'll get back on this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these sliders in here. I'll grease them up, put them in here, and then I'll come back once I get this hose pulled off and put on a new one, and I'll show you that. As you can see, I'll probably have to have a screwdriver or something, and there ain't much left of these pads because of the caliper sticking. That one's really bad. I'll show you that when I get done here. Show you those pads compared to the new ones. So I'll get done with this and then I'll show you what it is. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I thought I'd show you this before I put it on. There's the sliders put in there. All you do is, excuse me, I had to itch my nose. All you do is grease them up, because if you don't, they'll rust inside this piece, inside that metal piece there. Just grease them up and they pop right in them rubber boots, and you just push it down and hook it on the bottom one, and you'll be good to go. So we're good there, and I'm gonna get that metal or that rubber hose pulled off and put the new copper washers, which are right there. Put those on there and pull this green plug out, thread that bolt into here, and we'll be good to go. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll bring you back and show you. Alright guys, I'm back again. As you can see, I got the hose on here with my new copper washers right there. There's one in behind here. This bolt is, I used a 15 millimeter. All I got's this junk ass wrench here. If I were you, I wouldn't use anything like this, because this thing strips bolts out like you wouldn't believe. If you have a regular end, or boxed end or whatever, anything, I wouldn't use one of these though. That's the only 15 millimeter we have, so I have no choice but to use it. So, but that's on there. Fuck, it only takes 2 minutes to change. But here's my pads. As you can see, here's a new one. Here's the old one. It ate that right off. Here's the front. That's what happens when your caliper sticks. Didn't eat up the rotor, thank God, so I'm alright there. There is this little line here, but it isn't gouged. That's just from the past couple days. I had to drive it like that till I got the caliper, and that's why it's like that. But it isn't scored into the thing, it's just on the surface. So once I change these pads and run it, that should come right off. I already did the other side, changed the pads because that caliper's fine. This is the last thing I need to do before I get this thing inspected. So I'm gonna finish this up, and I got some grease with these brake pads and stick it on here so that they slide back and forth. But you gotta watch so you don't get it on your rotor. I just put it on like in these little grooves here. I stick the pad on, and that seemed to work pretty good on the other side. I've never had that stuff given to me before in any of these pads I get. But these Wagner ones, I got it with them, so I figured I'd just put it on there to help it from sticking. So I'll put this all back together and I'll show you what it looks like then. So I'll be back. Alright guys, here we go. I got her all put back together now. I fired the truck up, pumped it about 5 times, shut it off, come back and check for leaks. I don't see any, so we're good to go. I wanted to tell you these bolts right here are 12mm. So, and I always anti-seize them. That way when I have to put new brakes on it, I'm not busting my knuckles and shit trying to get them off. I know some people say don't do that, put Loctite on them. I don't do that. I've never had one fall out yet. I anti-seize every vehicle I have. So, but there it is, it's all done. As you can see, there's grease on the slides there. The slides in there are all greased, so we're good to go. Now I just have to wait for my dad to get home from work to help me bleed the brakes, and we'll be golden. It'll be time to get her inspected. So thanks for watching. I know this is probably going to be a pretty long video, but I thought I'd show you that and give you an idea what you're up against. So have a good one, and we'll talk to you again. Bye.